old craft beer to the clink glasses filled with top shelf bourbon or floral gins, every outing deserves the perfect pour. Be sure to check out their summer seltzer sales, Twisted Tea variety packs, and Svedka vodka flavors now at new lower prices. Visit their locations in Rensselaer, DeMotte, Morocco, or Cedar Lake. Red Baron Liquor has your summer spirit waiting.
97.7 The Chew. Touhyville. Two Tuohys are better than one.
Today is a new day.
Today is a new day.
Today is a new day.
Today, as you know, is a very big day.
Big day.
Big day.
Big day.
Big day for me. And a big day for you.
Why?
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 It's Friday. That's why.
That's why.
Good enough for me. Have fun, guys.
All right.
It's showtime.
Welcome to Touhyville. Steve Cheryl with you here, hanging out on a Friday morning. We're glad to have on the program this morning Rein Bontreger, Jasper County Commissioner. Also, I want to make sure that we say thank you for coming in. Like, I mean, you know,
Yes.
you took time out of your personal day to do this, and I understand as an elected official, you know, it's some of that is getting to the public and things, but it's not like just sitting around twiddling your thumbs, you know. You had
cruise night last night.
Right, you had the classic car show last night. The
And-
cruise night's coming up.
And cruise night is coming up.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
So, but we're talking all things data center, and you guys, residents of Touhyville and Jasper County, have been nice enough to send in some questions, some of your thoughts, and some concerns that you have.
Mhm.
Out of a bunch of them, the concerns that I saw over and over and over again were, is my well going to dry up? My well is dry up. Can you address that?
So if your well has not dried up over the past 50 years from NIPSCO using water in the river, it will not dry up as a result of this.
Okay.
They're not it will drill a well for potable water, right? For going to, for drinking water in the bathroom and stuff like that. But for cooling and running the data center, it is coming from the NIPSCO's current infrastructure that draws river water in, lets it settle in their settling pond. They use it, and then it's treated per IDEM and DNR standards before it gets discharged back into the river. So that current infrastructure, those settling ponds, those intake ponds are what they're drawing their water from.
And there's enough there that's
Yes.
not going to dry up. Or
NIPSCO actually, as coal comes offline, which only half the coal generators are running these days. There used to be 4, I think, and now they're down to 2. Eventually those will come offline, but they're under their permitted capacity, I think at about a third of what their permitted capacity is. And my understanding is it'll be less when it goes to the natural gas generation and the coal goes offline. But no, they're not using groundwater. People's wells will not dry up as a result of this data center. I understand, and that's part of what we're going to be able to talk about when we discuss and the aquifer management study is presented to us. And so that one other thing that is brought up during construction, when they're putting in foundations, sometimes they want to try to do a process called dewatering, where they pump down water so they can put their footers and stuff in. And we press them that they don't do just general area-wide dewatering, because that could affect somebody's well.
Gotcha.
Temporarily. So what we've asked them to do is more of a pit and a sump situation. So wherever the footer needs to go, you pump that out to do it, but you're not doing campus-wide dewatering. And then they will have monitoring wells to make sure that they're not affecting the surrounding water level. And that takes us back to the construction compliance monitor. That's one of the lessons we learned from solar and deployed it in the wind project at Butler, Fairmont, and Seifert. BF&S is a company that the developer, Amazon, paid us, and we hired who we wanted. BF&S works for us, but they are the construction compliance monitor. They're making sure that the project is being built as promised, the permits are followed. If there's issues with traffic or other problems, we have a hotline established, which you guys will have the information you can disseminate, that people can call in, and then these issues get taken care of. So that way.
And that number, the Jasper County Project Hotline, is 317-352-3004, or Jasper Projects at bfsengr.com.
We'll get that up.
And I'll send you a digital copy of that
Yeah.
that you can put out there. But that they're in place. BF&S has worked with the county for many years. They helped to help us to manage and assess our roads, the PASER ratings, which helps us get our grant for road funding. They assess our bridges. They take care and help us with our ADA and Title VI compliance. And so they've been a vendor, and we have a long-standing relationship with that construction compliance monitor. They work well with the surveyors department. So that company is hired on and retained. They're doing traffic management studies, and they're our liaison between NIPSCO, GENCO, Amazon, and INDOT in regards to, we know that there's going to have to be probably some improvements made at State Road 49 and County Road 1500, State Road 10, just because there is going to be more traffic flow. And most of that ramp up in traffic, the heaviest part of it is going to be about a year from now. There is going to be some increased traffic because they're doing mass grading and just getting the site prepped right now. So we have tried to think through the issues, but in the contingencies that we miss something, BFNS is there as our contact, our eyes and ears on the site with expertise.
So now what happens if there are things like 10 years ago, if someone had asked about AI, we'd be like, AI what? Like what? It wasn't even a thing. What happens with the things that are not up for consideration in the future? How are we protected, and how do we have a legal department for Jasper County that's got money pooled aside in case something happens? And if something happens, does Amazon step up? Or are they well, I got my building, so I don't care that no one can drink? Or
no, there are obviously contingencies that we're going to be looped into the reports, the water use reports and so forth. And that's where BFNS is like I said, our eyes and ears, making sure that they're not cutting corners, damaging infrastructure, making sure that they're following the agreement as it's been agreed to, following that language. So,
and we pay them, meaning
we hired them, but we get the resource from Amazon and we pay them. So they work for us. They don't work for the company. They work for us. Got it. So they have been definitely very helpful in making sure that, that these things are adhered to, and they helped us craft some of these agreements to make sure that we weren't missing points of importance.
And I think that's important. That's who's, for lack of a better term, policing this. That's who's making sure they adhere to the agreements that you've put in place, that they do these things. Like you said, I had some people ask, did Amazon put in writing that we're getting this money and all that stuff? Well, we're getting the money up front. I mean, I figured you guys didn't make a phone call and go, yeah, we'll probably do that. I mean, I assume so.
No,
but let's just
and that if it's not on the website yet, then that agreed document will be available for the public to review, and it should be on the county website. If it's not yet, it will be before too long.
While we're talking, because people sent in things. A couple people brought up NDAs that you had to sign. I'm used to that. Even in travel and tourism, you're not allowed to share. So
that's a common practice in dealing with business negotiations. And once again, and I had some folks ask me about it in a public meeting, which I addressed it and happy to. NDAs, non-disclosure agreement, essentially creates a protected environment so that you can talk about sensitive issues. And because there are, Amazon has competitors, Meta, Google, and everybody else, Hawkeye in the situation, and they aren't going to be able to share what they're willing to agree to the county if we can't guarantee that we're going to essentially keep a protected conversation. And the way I look at it is, I don't want to be responsible for the county disseminating misinformation and half truth. So, and I know some folks might take a cynical view, but we have been elected to represent the people of the county. And if you can't trust us to sign an NDA on behalf of the county and negotiate aggressively on behalf of the county, then we shouldn't do anything.
Right. It's why you were voted in. And that's why we can't have 34,100 residents show up and vote on, do we want to paint this wall blue or red? Or
if you had only simple majority rule, as you know, the mind could change, and who knows what would happen there. But everything that we learned, you all now know. It's just that we needed to know it ahead of time and be able to hear it in a environment that we could actually process the information and express our concerns without sharing half truth. And I know folks will have a difference of opinion there, but it's not about personal gain. It's like, honestly, if I wanted to take the easy route as a representative, we just would have tried to kick this down the road and not even entertain it. So you don't take a job in local county government for the money and for the accolade. You do it because you're trying to help to be a part of the process to make viability for our county and to be able to be fiscally responsible for decades. One thing I'm proud to say, we have no debt in this county. The only debt that we had when I was on the council was the jail bond, which has been paid off. And since that time, we don't have any bonds floated. In fact, that's one other point. Wheatfield needed a bond of $4.9 million to upgrade their sewer system. We got money, and we're in the process of figuring out how we can pay that off. Once again, alleviating and getting immediate benefit to that town that needs some injection, so that way the town officials can decide how they want to grow. Part of the money will go as they're developing their comprehensive plan. Part of the money we just allocated at our last meeting was for Kankakee Township to develop the comprehensive plan for their park. So there is going to be benefit. And I guess this also gives us as county officials the flexibility now to say no to other stuff, right? If we'd like to entertain and develop more ag-related businesses, now we have the freedom to do that. But we don't need any more solar. We aren't going to have any more wind turbines, because that's a designated area, an overlay district in the south. That's where those are going to be. And we're going to also work on making that parcel an overlay district there. So that's the only spot in the county, because we don't want to signal that we're open for business for more data centers and this kind of stuff. What I want to communicate to the state and state officials is that we have done our part in Indiana, as Jasper County, to be a diverse economic driver for the state. Let us continue to decide what our priorities need to be. And if you want to go cite stuff elsewhere, great, but leave us alone. I think we've done our part. But every county has to bear their burden, right? I mean, Newton County has a landfill. White County has a landfill. All our trash goes to one of those two places. We don't have that burden in Jasper County, but we do have this. We've had a power plant for 50 years. And now we are going to have this, which is going to still be within that general footprint. So is there a perfect scenario? Not necessarily, but we felt after much deliberation and discussion that this was the decision and the unicorn spot. For example, I'm glad I don't live in Hobart and wouldn't have to make that decision. That data center is twice our size, in the middle of, I shouldn't say in the middle of town, but in an urban area.
Right.
But they made a decision for themselves, and we talked with Mayor Josh and other leadership up there, and they figured out creative ways to give some benefits to their citizens in ways that you couldn't do if you're only relying on the normal taxing process. So
do you have any regrets on how all of this unfolded?
I don't have any regrets. I'm not a cheerleader necessarily for it. It's not like, oh yeah, I would recommend any other county to do it. But I don't have any regrets for the fact that we secured a landmark economic deal that we can bring visible, nearly immediate results to areas that have been underserved and overlooked in our county. And if we can use some of this information and this revenue now to help guide the growth in the county so we can still preserve our way of life, we don't necessarily want to have the huge developers come in and build every house that looks alike. You know how that is? Because that's one of the issues. If we allowed all this revenue boost to go straight to the AV of the county, it would drive everybody's rates down super low. And now you're on the radar to have all kinds of outside investment want to flood into the county.
Yep.
Do we want that? No, we don't. We want development. We want growth, but we want it controlled, and we want it to try to retain the flavor of our county. I know this information may give at least some clarification for some folks. And I know some folks are still going to be frustrated with it. I'm happy to talk with anybody about it, but I know the other 9 men, currently it's men on council and commissioners, and none of them are doing it for personal gain. Well, and I say that 100%.
And I do want to address that because of, again, so I'm just going to ask you, Did you take a kickback from any of these companies to do this?
No kickbacks.
Okay.
I got kicked
Thank
in the
you.
head a few times, but I did not.
Thank you.
But no kickbacks. No,
I also I want to address some of the financial stuff that I saw from the meeting, because you said the meetings are on YouTube. You can also go and grab the notes.
Yeah.
And I know this probably won't make some of the people that are against this happy, but I used some of the data center stuff. I used Claude. I uploaded the notes and asked it to summarize some of the stuff in the data center so that I could be prepared for this meeting, so I can know what to talk to you about. So I just saw this and I thought this was really important for the area. 800,000 to area schools, 200,000 to DeMott, Christian, KV, Rensselaer, and Tri-County. Is that coming? How does that work?
That'll be coming. So our first payment that we got was 19.9 million. That 800,000 is not in that first payment.
Okay.
But I did clarify. We thought initially maybe that money was to help set up curriculum, because as part of the abatement agreement that the council approved, there are going to be 250 permanent long-term jobs in Jasper County that will pay 125% of the county average.
Mhm.
So you're going to start out about 70,000.
Mhm.
Turns out this initial 200,000 is no strings. They can use it for their own discretion when the money comes.
So the schools can use it for whatever they
Whatever
need
they
to
want.
do to improve those schools. DeMott Christian, KV, Rensselaer, and Tri-County,
Yeah.
right here in our area.
And then also 100,000 will be coming for the library as well. But that will likely be later this fall till that money comes.
Mhm.
I know currently council leadership is working with the auditor's office to get the budget lines set up. So when this money comes in, we can get it appropriated properly. So then, and that's the other thing. One of the other tasks we have to do is to essentially put an investment tracker out there so people can see, from what project, where the money came in, and
Yes.
where it's been injected into the county.
Yeah.
So that'll be coming. I'm going to say in the next few months. I'm not going to say a few weeks, because things do take longer and it's a little more complex than expected. But I don't regret having it. What I'm happy about is that it's not any bigger than it is. I'm happy about that, because we're dealing with three major projects up there at once. You got the peaker plant, Genco will be coming, and this data center. So believe me, I've learned a lot. And some folks are saying, well, we should just say no. It's nobody will ever notice. Well, on a Zoom call that I needed to sit in on, there was a White House staffer on the call. So DC knows about
you
Jasper
can't just
County.
say no. This is not
Well,
with this much money and benefit to the community. I get that we have to do due process and make sure it's not going to wreck all the wildlife and environmental stuff and
none of us want that. None of us want
and
that.
dry out the water. I mean,
None of us want that.
but at the same time, you can't just go, nah, we're not interested. I mean, yeah.
Well, I want to point out, you brought up the wildlife.
Yes.
Amazon's setting aside 250 acres as a nature preserve.
Yes.
So they are thinking about the wildlife
So that's
too.
going to be, that's the result of a borrow pit. They're going to have to take ground out to be able to build up the site where they want to build. And so, yes, Amazon and NIPSCO are actually going to have areas up there that are going to be new wetland areas, which will then either be turned over to DNR or somebody to manage. I don't know if, we don't necessarily want to be the ones in charge of it, but with, the potential of trails, maybe a river launch and so forth. So good point for bringing that up. And here's the paradox for me. I've been in business myself. I design stuff for people. I personally am a little averse to using AI for stuff. I prefer to do it old school.
Well, you're an artist, so I mean, you just did a mural, So
but
you're not
AI
looking for that,
But AI to get a summary of a meeting notes in a short time makes good sense. Should it be deployed everywhere? No. And I know one of the questions some people bring up or their concerns are that it'll be for surveillance. Well, not direct from that facility. We're not looking to surveil the county. Amazon, if you want, and once again, I'm not a salesman for them, but we are now a partner with them in the county. They are a business partner in the county. They sponsor the NFL and all kinds of other things because they're using their analytics for all kinds of stuff.
Do you have any pull on making sure our packages come on? I'm kidding.
No, yeah.
our packages
right.
arrive on time and that they're on the front post stoop instead of I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
they're gonna have to work on that. Yeah,
Get that in the contract.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You'll be a
Yeah.
hero. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Is there anything else that you need to get to? Because we're way past time.
Nope.
But that I
sorry
wanna
to
make sure.
run you over.
Not at
No,
all. Not at all. It's
not
us.
at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
And honestly, I'd be happy, or I'm sure we could wrangle Craig or Ryan to come in and be willing to talk about it as this process unfolds to give people updates on how it's going.
Yeah, we would love it.
I think we should have you on because I do
Mm-hmm.
think that having media in this area while this is going on will unite the people with government
Yeah.
and what is really going on and quiet the noise.
And you guys
know?
need to be, and I say this, whether it's you or Harley Tomlinson at the paper or
Mhm.
Russ, I talked to Russ, but
Sure.
you guys need to be assured. You're free to ask the hard questions. This is not this is not a cheerleading session for you to us. Ask the hard questions.
Yeah.
Represent what people are. I'm happy to I stick around a lot of times after meetings and talk with people about these topics and these concerns. And once again, we're trying to make decisions that are going to be beneficial to this county, preserve our Jasper County flavor, and yet establish the conditions that one of the things we hear, our kids are moving away. There's no opportunities for them. Well, there's going to be opportunities here.
Mhm.
And can this assist our schools in generating, because they need employees younger than us, younger than you and me,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So believe me, this has stretched me in ways that I never expected in regards to communicating on behalf of the county to get an agreement that would benefit the county.
Mhm.
And once again, no, we're not in this for ourselves. We're in this to
Right.
try to establish and keep Jasper County a model rural county,
And invest in the future.
and invest in the future. And that's so like I said, that's our next big task, is to protect that principle and grow it so that we have revenue streams outside of just the normal taxing structure for
Mhm.
future needs.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today and taking this hour. We hope you do it again.
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And we thank our listeners too for sending us questions and things like that we can cover, and
Yeah.
for you being honest about the answers and providing clarity.
Mhm. Yeah. We appreciate all of it, and I know we may not have gotten to all of your questions and might not have covered everything that you want,
Mhm.
but I think we learned a whole lot in the last hour,
Mhm.
so that we can take with us, and it won't be the last time that we cover things.
Yeah,
Also-
So thank you.
We can establish a semi-regular
Yeah.
time to come in
Sure.
and try to catch up some of these questions that maybe were missed today. I don't want people to feel like they're left hanging.
No, and I want people to understand that we're not trying to dodge anything. We're trying to, as we said from the start, Cheryl and I want to do this to start learning about. We're not going to learn everything. Today wasn't,
Right, we're residents,
yeah.
but we live in Rensselaer. So I was like, does Wheatfield impact us? And how is this going to help the county? And is it going to help the county? And
Well, we're residents of Jasper County,
yeah,
as are, once again, all of the commissioners, the county council, the
Mhm.
people that are putting this
Mhm.
together also live here with us too.
Right.
So when you're on Facebook and you're jumping around and they're doing this to screw us all up, and you guys are right here with us. You're in the county.
right.
be
You're
fair,
impacted by every one of
you're
I'll
these.
say this
putting
as
on
my-
shows. You're
I'll say
putting on
this
cruise
as
night.
my
You're-
last
you know,
as my last comment. There is a nice dose of healthy skepticism amongst the 10 who make decisions on behalf of the
Sure.
county.
Yes.
So, and that's
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yep.
We'll take a break and then we'll quickly end on a high note because we're behind on Russ's
Yes.
news as well and the rest of the
But
day.
if
So,
you're before
you know,
you cut to anything,
yeah,
if you have concerns, questions, please provide your name and address to the following contact: 317-352-3004,
Mhm.
317-352-3004, or email Jasper Projects at bfsengr.com.
All right. There you go. We'll be back in just a little bit.